It's Valerie with My Stitch and Dollyverse. In today's video, we're going to be making little hats for our dolls. Let's go. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Valerie, and this is My Stitch and Dollyverse, where we sew for our dolls. We talk fashion about dolls. We talk all about dolls. In today's video, we're going to be making some little holiday hats. This is just an example. I have lots of different sized dolls. Of course, so do you, I'm sure. This is just a fun little thing to add to your dolls, like a fun little accessory to add to your dolls during the holidays if you wanted to dress up your dolls and have like a new display. We're going to be using upcycled materials, so old sweaters or shirts or all sorts of things that we can use. Kind of holiday theme. Obviously this is a pink. I'm going to also look for more holiday colors, maybe blues, reds, greens, you know, that kind of thing. And if you're new here, subscribe, stick around. Let's get to sewing. So I decided to make the hat for my smart doll, and I'm actually going to use a pair of pants that are my son's pants. They got chewed up by my dog. So the cuff is actually a perfect piece to use. So with anything, before you start cutting it up, you should try it on and see, can I alter this? Can I make this into a hat? It does have the right components. Yep, I think that's a good fit. And with any kind of project like this, I always cut a little bit extra. You never want to cut it too short and then, you know, not be able to go back and fix that, obviously. If you cut extra, then you're able to trim it down as you go. Make sure it's straight. That's what I'm doing right here. And I'm looking at the construction of this hat and how they have like a cross darts that go down each side. And obviously we have the side seams of the pants already. And I'm looking at the shape. Obviously it's a lot smaller, but just in general, the shape of how the hat looks. And then I'm going to draw with a pencil, and I recommend using a blue so that you could see it better. I am just using a regular colored pencil. There are soft chalk pencils that are good for drawing on fabrics, and they come out pretty easily. This one, I'm not going to see it on the inside. It's not going to get on my doll, so I'm not too concerned, and I'm just drawing with that. So now I'm trying it on again, inside out, seeing where the curve of the hat actually needs to lay, and if the dart is far enough down. And I'm putting a pin where the dart should end. And then I'm going to transfer that mark all around the hat so it's even. So just marking it with the pencil. And then folding it over to the side seam where the side of the hat is going to be, making sure that the cuff is in place, everything lines up, and marking that on both sides. So that's going to be the end of that curve. And it's all going to make sense once you see when I draw the full curve, but this way you're not just measuring each dart individually and then truing it, making it all straight. You're just taking that one measurement that you got and transferring it to, you know, all sides. So that shows me what the curve is going to be. And actually when I did this, I made it way too tall. I don't know why I did that, but I did. I could have dropped it down just a little bit. When I sew it a little bit better. So that's my line right there. You can always pin it as if it was sewn and then try it on. Wrong side out, of course. So I'm going to use white thread for this so you can see what I'm sewing. Obviously, you always want to use a matching thread. White's going to be okay with the cream. You're not going to see it. And I am sewing it by hand. You can, of course, sew it by machine. The sweatpants don't stretch too much, but you definitely want to make sure you're not stretching it as you're sewing it, because it will create a ripple and won't look as nice. So I'm sewing that through that loop, anchoring it down, and then I'm going to go through and do a back stitch. So you take a bite of fabric, go back and meet that last part where you were, come out equal amount on the other side of that string that's right in the middle. So you're just going over and over again, back stitching. And I like to show this stitch on my videos. This is the main stitch that I use when sewing things together. A running stitch I use for gathers or basting, but for this, just basic sewing, you want to do a back stitch. So I'm just showing examples over and over again so that you can sew with me. And when you get to a point where the thread is kind of too short, you need to anchor that and cut it off. So I am anchoring it to the last stitch, so I'm not puckering or taking a bite of the actual fabric. Yeah, and when I come back with a new piece of thread, I go right underneath that one of those last stitches to anchor it down. It just makes it really smooth and nice. I'm always wanting to make my stitches look really smooth and not puckery and not show up on the other side in a weird way. You never know unless you turn it right side out to see what it looks like. And then I'm going to anchor it in the meat of that the meat of the seam allowance. And before I trim away that curve, I want to try it on the doll. And then, of course, I know that I'm still going to do that tuck in the front too. See what I mean? It's a little bit tall, but once that dart goes in there, it looks a lot better. So you kind of have to imagine it. I trim away the seam allowance after I've tried it on and I know it's right. And then I'm going to sew those darts down. And I'm just taking a bite of fabric and just making like a 1/16 of an inch for the dart. So it's not that, much of a tuck. That way it'll lay nicer at the point of, at the bottom. And right there too, when I started, I did a stab stitch. So I just stabbed it through both layers, and then I did the back stitch all the way down. And I'm getting some tangles here. You can see my thread is twisted. I actually just bought some new thread conditioner, or if you use wax, it makes life so much easier when you're sewing. You don't get a lot of knots and twists and whatnot. So now I'm turning it right side out, and I'm going to try it on her again. Oh, it's so cute. And it is the color that I picked, I thought it matched her, dress really well. She's the cutest thing. It's a bit oversized, but it's still sweet. Next one I probably will make it smaller. So this is the pom-pom that I used. It's leftover yarn. I'd love to get a pom-pom maker. Oh my gosh, look at her. I just love it so much. So let me know if you're going to go for this project. It's simple and super cute. So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and stick around for all of the sewing fun that we'll be doing this new year for our dolls. See you next time. Bye.